his thinking, including from Mr. Bannon, who spoke to him by phone earlier on Tuesday. The pardon was described as a preemptive move that would effectively wipe away the charges against Mr. Bannon should he be convicted. He may not be the only one with pardon language like that, in effect, to wipe away charges that have not yet been either brought or proven. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, you may recall the bust by the feds. It was a large vessel off the coast of Connecticut. Bannon was caught up in it, and the gist of the allegation was that people were urged to give money which would make it to the construction of the southern border wall with Mexico. The allegation was that that money instead was funneled to personal use. It was the feds who were involved. There was this rather triumphant scene outside what I think was his initial court appearance. A lot of media, a lot of supporters across the street. Of course, the border wall has been a signature issue. Steve Bannon, early on in the Trump days, used some bracing language at the Conservative Political Action Group when a whole lot of people who hadn't had an introduction to him were taken aback by his use of language like destroy the administrative state. It was unknown exactly at the start of the Trump years what that kind of thing meant. We got a better idea of what that meant as the Trump years went on, the Trump years that end at noon tomorrow. Thankfully and miraculously, our friend Peter Baker of the New York Times has been summoned back to his home camera. He didn't have anything to do anyway on the eve of the inauguration of the president. Peter, talk about what more of the blanks you can fill in here and what we know.
Well, look, the idea that he's going to pardon Steve Bannon is actually really remarkable in a way. Because remember, while Steve Bannon had been his chief strategist in the White House, had been a key part of his 2016 election, they had a big falling out over that book that came out that quoted Bannon trashing Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, the president's daughter and son-in-law. And at that point, he pushed away from the Trump circle, and he's sort of been out of favor for a long time. But here the president decided that he saw in Bannon somebody like himself, right? He's looking at these pardons to some extent through the prism of his own victimization.